So,
Just you. Paul can
Good morning.
good morning.
Can you all hear me? In the back? Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome to, I call it a zeroth conference on caregiving at Tennessee Tech. We'll have our first conference next year once we figure out what we are doing. And, but the purpose of this conference is for us to get together and figure out, and you guys can help us, what is out there, what is not, and how can we structure a collaborative center which we all work together for the goodness of the society, as well as the region, as well as the state of Tennessee, and see if we can create a model which a nation can follow. Okay. I'm Bharat Soni. I'm Vice President of Research and Economic Development at Tennessee Tech, and my role, I tell faculty members, I connect dots. Okay. We believe in interdisciplinary collaboration with our own faculty, but also going out there in the community. We believe that the universities are the knowledge bank for economic development as well as community development. And we are out there working with the community. Whatever we do, we should contribute to the society at large for the goodness of it. So we look at where the world is going, okay, and what state of Tennessee is doing, so that we can create programs, we can create centers which can generate prosperity, it can contribute towards the community development, and it also inspire economic development in our state. Okay. So, we have a large manufacturing industry in the state of Tennessee. We have manufacturing center. We are always concerned about energy, right? Energy is a big thing. We have Energy Systems Research Center. Another thing which is you keep on hearing that the world is going to be scared of water. We have Water Resource Management Center. Okay. So we create these centers to reflect the needs of the society. And we are looking into several others. All of us has late experience regarding the cybersecurity threat. So last year we established a Center for Cybersecurity on education, research and outreach. And we'll focus, as far as research is concerned, we will focus on finance. So our credit card can remain safe, right? We'll focus on homeland security, and we'll focus on healthcare. Okay. So we are also looking into several areas. We are a part of the rural community. We consider Cookeville is a metroplex in these 14 counties. And 14 counties is our home, basically. And we are looking into, we have lots of farming community. We are looking at sustainable agriculture center with a concept to farm to fork or farm to fashion. Okay. So last year we were thinking of, as we are looking into contributing to economic development, it is very critical that we develop the community first. The community development is very, very critical. So we started looking into the healthcare and especially caregiving. And in caregiving, I have my personal experience because I have a 37 years old, I still call him child, who has a CP. So I have my personal experience and I observed how the industry works, and so I started studying that. And I brought some champions together from campus. And everything we think interdisciplinary. What kind of disciplines can come together? Okay. So of course, caregiving, very first thing we can think of is nursing. We have Tony Roberts. Tony, would you like to stand up?
I introduced myself in the parking lot.
So,
Garbage and passing
Tony
out.
Roberts, and the world is going in the direction of simulation. So we have Jason someplace, Jason Hurley. Jason is a simulation person in our nursing. Okay. And then we started looking at what other areas. Sociology plays a very important role. We have Shelley Brown, who is partnering with us. Nutrition is important, and nutrition is so critical in that because caregiving is very comprehensive. You guys are the experts, so I'm not going to talk much about it, but it's very comprehensive in nature. So in respect to that, we also looked at nutrition aspects. Our human ecology has a big interest. And Kara Sisk, who could not be here because of her class, and Samantha, there are two faculty members contributing to that. Education in terms of disability and things of that nature, we have Amy Callender working with us. Another piece we started looking at is we call a technology piece. So how many of you have heard of iCube on campus? iCube stands for Imagine, Inspire, and Innovate. And we're going to have a little booth here, so you will have an experience to look at what, please take that demonstration. And if you get more fired up, we'll give you a bigger demonstration in that center. But iCube Center is basically to bring, it enables everything together and brings everything together. One of the areas where the world is going is virtual reality. If you work on YouTube, if you are looking at YouTube, if you fire up YouTube, very first advertisement, many times it comes as virtual reality. And you hear that on the news all the time. So we have a center for dedicated to that. Kevin Liska is the director, and you will have an option to observe him a little later. The second area is, how many of you wear Fitbit? And you know what it is, right? You want to create healthcare bit, and for that you need computer science. Jerry Kennard in the back, Jerry from computer science, is the chair of computer science. He already has experience in that. So we have teamed together, interdisciplinary team, and then we bring in experts like you to learn from you what are the resources available, what is the status, what are the critical barriers, and what university working together with other organizations and businesses can do, how can we structure our center. So that's the purpose of this conference. As you know, we thought of three thrusts, being an education center or university, education, training, and outreach. So that's the very first thrust. We have panel discussion on that. Second is the technology, peace and innovation. So we have discussions on that. That is a lot more critical too, because again, you guys know that status of industry. So it is very, very critical to have technology, use the Wi-Fi or internet technology or Internet of Things to basically how can we improve our healthcare. And the last one is daily care. What kind of caregiving services should we provide, and economics of it. Anything requires money to sustain. How do we do that, and how do we work together? And then we have a last session where we bring in all of us together in one room to basically openly discuss. And that's where we have lots of people involved in panel, but we'll also have several individuals in the audience, and they may have their input. So we talk about everybody's input. We are recording everything in terms of audio, so that later on we can review that and figure out how do we want to go or build this center. So that's the basic remarks in terms of objectives of this conference. I would like the key members welcome to this conference. Our Senator Bailey has another meeting, but it is very nice of him to come here, and he says, get me out as soon as we can because of his commitment in Nashville, and it is very critical that we honor his time. So, Senator Bailey, you want to say a few words?
Well, thank you, Dr. Soni, and it's certainly a pleasure to be with you this morning and to hear the vision and the mission of this conference. And when Dr. Soni reached out to me several weeks ago and asked that if I could be here, I told him that I was more than happy to be here. I just had a little time constraint that I had to be in Nashville by 10:30. And if any of you have driven to Nashville recently, you can certainly understand why I would need to move very expeditiously and get on the road and get moving. Speaking on a personal level, just a few months ago, I was faced, as well as my mother, my last grandparent that's living, who was in her home, but was having a lot of falling episodes. And so we were faced with a decision as to whether or not we could find good in-home care for her to be able to remain in her home, or whether or not we would have to move her into an assisted living or into a health care facility. And at the time when we started researching and trying to find a health care provider that could bring that in-home care, we didn't feel like that we were able to find adequate care that she needed and or deserved. And so we had to move her into an assisted living home. Now she's happy there, but obviously she would be much happier if she was in her own home and was able to stay there. So as a state legislator, as well as a citizen, I applaud the vision that Dr. Sony and Tennessee Tech, along with Dr. Oldham, has for trying to create a conference and to create this vision and mission to provide good healthcare providers, and certainly appreciate the School of Nursing that would be, I understand, possibly sending students into this market, and so I think it would be great for the community and the Upper Cumberland. So thank you, and you guys have a great day. It's a beautiful day, and I certainly look forward to hearing the results of what the conference comes up with today.
Thank you, Dr. Sony. I'm Ryan Williams. I'm the state representative here, and it seems like I'm always following Paul Bailey, which is very difficult. But like he, I have both my grandmothers are still alive. I have one; she turned 100 in July, so she is in a caregiving program in Kingsport, where is my hometown. And then my other grandmother suffers from Alzheimer's, and she is in care there as well. So very personal to us. I told somebody the other day, grandparents were a little bit different. We were talking about all the phone numbers that, we used to be able to remember phone numbers for people. But the phone numbers I always remember was my best friend and my two grandmothers and my home number. So it's interesting that we know that. And so we want to make sure that we take care of them, whether it's our grandparents or whoever it may be. In some cases, it may be a loved one who has some special needs as it relates to their physicality, but it also may be a relative caregiver, like the programs that we have here in the state, which is really interesting. I did a little research on this, and those people who are relative caregivers or caregivers for somebody in their family, that about 20% of their income, 20% of what they make every day, goes to take care of that loved one in their family. And so as I was thinking about that, I thought, wow, this is amazing. We don't really realize that until we're the person paying the 20%, really. And so it's exciting that you're doing this. I really, as a chairman of the health subcommittee, I see a lot of issues like this, making an opportunity for people like the Smiths and others to be able to serve families in their home is the most affordable way, quite frankly, to be able to do it in such a way that allows them to stay in their residence as long as possible. So it's really exciting to see that. As I was thinking about this conference, and anytime you're doing the first thing, it's kind of a little unique, but this morning I was dropping my son off to school at the high school before I came here. And ironically, I noticed this boy. I see this same boy walking to school every day. And this morning he walked a little taller. And I can't imagine walking to school every morning and seeing 100 cars waiting at a red light going the other way, and everybody's staring at you. And this young man was walking. But I noticed that one thing that took my attention this morning was the fact that this young I call him boy, but I guess he's a young man, but he could probably beat me up. But but this young man was walking taller. He was more confident. He didn't look at the cars, their oncoming cars, like he used to. You know what I'm saying? And so as I was thinking about this conference in the beginning, we're all going to kind of, our shoulders may be pitched a little forward, our head may be a little low, and say, why am I here? What am I doing? But I think over time, as you do conferences like this, as you learn from other people, you can walk taller like that young man did this morning on the way to school, knowing, hey, this is okay, it's not that bad, I really don't care what these people driving these other cars or going the other way. I'm just getting to school, right? So as you go about the day to day, my hope is that you find a way to participate, communicate in such a way that you learn to, out throughout the day, pull your shoulders back, get your head up, learn from each other, and know that you're trying to save 20% of somebody's daily income to try to find a better way to do these things together, because this people group is, the largest people group is just going to continue to grow over the coming years. So anyways, thanks for coming today. Welcome to the 42nd District and the 15th Senatorial District, and we appreciate the opportunity and hearing really the great things that you guys figure out today. So thank you for letting me come.
Before I introduce President Arnold, I want to say a couple of things. Number one, I mentioned the sustainability of the center. And on the university, we basically work with advancement and look at the foundations. We have from the foundation Tracy Duncan, who is one of our champion with us, and also Kevin Braswell, who is our VP of advancement, has joined us. Second thing I mentioned, collaboration. And collaboration with the community is also very, very critical. So actually, Upper Cumberland Development District, we are in charge of aging and disability program for our 14 counties, Upper Cumberland. They are our partner in this whole affair, which we are working together. Okay, Holly Williams, she's been with us, and Holly and Pat both, those are the one where my sound bites at that time. Said, this is an idea, what do you think? You know, and they got excited, and Holly's been with us from day one. Mark, thanks for joining us. Mark is the executive director of UCDD. So this is a very, very collaborative approach. So we don't we don't think that we have all the ideas and everything together, but we are willing to listen. We are willing to work together. So I wanted to make sure I can reiterate that for everyone here, because this is a very, very collaborative endeavor, and we all want to work together. So next, I would like President Oldham to say a few things.
Well, first of all, welcome to campus. For those of you that are visiting, it's a pleasure to have you with us. This is an exciting event. It's an exciting opportunity, I think, for all of us. University campuses like Tennessee Tech are absolutely wonderful places to be a part of, to work on a campus like this. When we do our job well, there's fundamentally two things I think that we do. First of all, we create and disseminate knowledge. And the creating part is very important. It's not just a matter of recycling existing knowledge or technology, but actually creating new opportunities. And certainly that's embedded within this conference idea. The other thing that we do when we do our job really well is we identify and develop human talent. And certainly there's nothing more important to be able to address issues like are being discussed at this conference than human capacity, human talent, to help address these very personal issues, as Representative Williams indicated. And also, as both Senator Bailey and Representative Williams indicated, that there's probably no issue that we face in all of our lives that impacts all of us so universally as healthcare, as caregiving, and we all have our personal stories about that. The odds are that every one of us will be on one side or the other of that equation. We'll either be giving care to someone else or receiving it. It's incredibly important. I was fortunate to be able to observe my mother take care of her parents for the better part of 10 years. It was a great blessing. It's a very loving thing for her to do. I also saw the toll that it took on her physically and emotionally. Okay, she wouldn't have changed it for anything, and it was a great example for me. But like I said, we all have those stories, and we all know what an impact this has on each and every one of our lives. So I want to thank everybody who's already participated in this conversation to get it to this point. I think Tech is a really excellent vehicle or venue for this kind of conversation because we can sort of think out of the box. We can maybe bring some things into the conversation that other people might not naturally think about, and use some creativity to that regard. The community partnerships are very vital. I appreciate all of that, and hopefully we can create a model here that would be help solve the problem not only for our local region, but could be translation to other parts of the country and world as well. So thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing what comes out of this, and it's very exciting. So thank you.
We are at the right stage in the state of Tennessee with the right leadership and thinking about all different aspects of, as many of you know, we are number one in attracting foreign direct investment last 2 years in a row. Okay, and if you look at number of jobs, even in Cookeville area, working together with the community, last year alone, we were able to bring in 2 large companies. One of them is Academy Sports. The largest distribution center is in Cookeville, Tennessee. And when you think of Tennessee, you think of transportation, because we are within 500 miles, we can reach 80% population of United States. So if you look at Nashville and draw a 500-mile circle, you can cover 80% of the population. Not only that, you can reach out most of the ports, so to ship the material and things like that. So we are in a perfect location for distribution. So another area we are thinking of, as many of you hear about the autonomous vehicles and things like that, we are thinking of what we call intelligent mobility. How do we change our infrastructure? How do we get ready? When the autonomous cars are there, we have infrastructure ready, and our highway structure as well as the trucks and tires are going to play a critical role. Our trucks are ready to do that. Because if you drive on our highway, you're going to have lots of trucks passing by because of our location. So that's another area we're looking for, Center for Intelligent Mobility on campus. Okay. So those are the things we're working with, but all of that contributes to the economic development. And we very much appreciate the Tennessee Economic and Community Development has a vision to create a rural task force. So Amy News is leading that charge. Amy had another engagement. She wanted to be here, but then it is very nice of Amanda Martin to join us today. She represents a rural task force in economic and community development. So Amanda, you want to say 2 things?
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to be here. First, I just wanted to bring greetings from Commissioner Randy Boyd and especially Amy New. She is a local from this area and really wanted to be here today. She's really excited to see what you guys are doing here and this effort. One of the things, our mission at the Department of Economic and Community Development says that we're passionate about creating dynamic and diverse economies and thriving communities for generations of Tennesseans. And as I was thinking about what to say today, I realized how connected that is with caregiving. I mean, caregiving is undeniably connected to the overall well-being of our communities. I mean, it's everything from whether you can have employment close to the parents that you're trying to care for. It's whether you have a good job that allows you to have that 20% of your income to be able to care for your parents. It's whether we have an education system and a workforce development system that's preparing the kind of caregivers that we need to provide that kind of care. And in state government, right now, we're really doubling down, especially on our rural communities, through some great leaders in the legislature, through Governor Haslam and through Commissioner Boyd. We're really looking at what we can do for rural communities. And we have a few programs that are relevant to this topic that I just wanted to share a little bit about. The first is the Governor's Rural Task Force. This task force was created by Governor Haslam last year and brings together leaders from 18 different organizations, including Representative Williams here, that have all put their heads together thinking holistically about how we solve the issues that are facing our rural communities. So we realize that we can't operate in silos and that we have to work together and that our solutions are going to cross different departments. We've looked at and not only do we bring together these leaders at the state level, we also engaged about 120 people in this committee process. We had local leaders that were mayors, we had educators, we had healthcare professionals, we had bankers, we had farmers, all kinds of people that drove all the way to Nashville to give us input for these committees so that we could come up with some ideas. We're working through the process to figure out what ideas we're going to move forward with in this next year, but fundamentally we're committed to figuring out how we can address the needs in our rural community. We've looked at all kinds of questions from how do we make sure we have healthcare providers in these rural areas? I mean, that can really be a challenge. How do we make sure that they've got dentists and behavioral specialists and even just family practitioners? How do we support telehealth? How do we just support the general overall well-being of our communities? We also have other grant programs that can be used, and the reason that I bring these up is I want to encourage you to identify what the needs are in your communities and think creatively about how you can solve those problems. It's really important to identify a need, think about what the solution is, and think about how you'll be able to measure success. We have some grant programs that can be used in this area. One is our 3-Star program. So this program provides a grant to county governments and chambers to be used for seed funding for any project that relates to one of the governor's 5 priorities. And one of those priorities is health and welfare. So it provides some kind of seed money for a project. Another is our community development block grants, which are federal dollars that pass through our department. One of the things that grant can be used for are community facilities. So in the past, we've done things like renovating bathrooms in a nursing home so that they comply with ADA standards. We've also worked on outfitting a facility to serve as a community center where they can provide daycare for Alzheimer's patients and new nutrition programming. So there's kind of some ways that that funding can be used. Another source of funding is Appalachian Regional Commission grants. One of the things that we've done in the past, or one of the projects that's going on right now, is building a vocational center to employ people with disabilities. So there are really there are some funding sources out there. We also as a department are really committed to the overall well-being of the community. So as Dr. Stoney was talking about, it's all connected. So our department also does a number of things just related to creating jobs. We have a business development team that's out there every day recruiting companies and helping the communities that are already there to be able to expand and create more jobs, because we know that that's an important factor of having a healthy community. We have programs that are helping communities develop sites so that they can land an academy distribution center to create lots of new jobs in their community. We have other programs that support downtown revitalization. Cookeville is a main street, and so you've seen kind of the growth that goes on in that main street and what that brings to the community in terms of livability, in terms of whether people want to be in that community. So we have all of those programs. The one thing that I really want you guys to take away from is that we want to work with you guys as you guys are tackling these issues. We want to be a part of the discussion, and we want to figure out how we can work together with all the great leaders that we have in Nashville and figure out the best solutions for our community. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day, and look forward to hearing the discussions today. Thank you.
Amanda, thank you very much, President Olam. Representative Williams, thank you very much. I know you have to also drive to Nashville, so we very much appreciate you being here. What I like to do is, let me introduce a couple of more leaders from Tennessee Tech, and then maybe we can go around and introduce all this. It's the beauty of having a smaller group like this, that we can get to know each other and we can get a lot more done rather than a larger conference. So I want to recognize Dr. Zhang. She's the Dean of Nursing here. Okay. And my colleague and my partner in Economic Community Development, Tom Brewer. So and as we go around, he will also introduce it further. But anyone else I'm missing from the Tennessee Tech? But I think let's go around and maybe.
Came in.
Oh,
He had already introduced you.
I have already talked about you, and please do introduce and tell everyone your. If you can, when you introduce yourself, what you think you can bring to the caregiving will be very, very important. So maybe we can go around, and Tony, you want to start, and then
Sure, I'll start, but I'm going to start with Dr. Stoney, and he didn't ask me, of course, to do this, but I want to make it clear that this is his brainchild, and, you know, it's born out of his own personal experience with the need in this community. And so it's just been awesome working with him, and he's very unassuming. He's very much, you know, this is your ball game, do what you, but without him, we wouldn't be here today. So, I want to give him a big hand. And I'm Tony Roberts, and you'll get to hear from me more on the panel. I'll do a little introduction, so I'll pass along my time.
Well, my name's Patty Ray, and I'm the director of the Area Agency on Aging and Disability. The Area Agency on Aging and Disability is under the umbrella of the Upper Cumberland Development District. And we provide, or we facilitate a number of programs that serve seniors in communities. We serve 14 counties in the Upper Cumberland.
I'm Mark Farley with the Upcoming Development District.
I'm Holly Williams, and I'm Assistant Director with the Area Agency on Aging and Disability, also known as the AAAD for short. Patty shares a little bit about our agency. You'll be hearing a little bit more about what we do this afternoon when Claire Farless talks about our family caregiver program. But we provide a wide array of services for older adults, other adults with disabilities, and family caregivers. And I have some brochures here. If anybody in the audience is not familiar with the services that we provide, I'd be happy to give you a brochure and talk with you more about what we do. I'm also honored to be a part of the planning committee and working with Tennessee Tech to bring you this conference today, and I'm very excited about what's to come. So.
Well, good morning. My name is Sid Reedy, and I'm a resident of Fairfield Glade, Tennessee, which is just down the road a little ways. And I don't know if you know Fairfield Glade, but Fairfield Glade is a community, it's a retirement resort community where the average age of those 5,000 people out there are 67. And I have my personal care story with Alzheimer's related to my mother, going back 16 years before anyone really knew about the disease. And to this day, I struggle with not knowing how to give her care, how I did it the wrong way, handled it completely wrong. And so when I retired to Fairfield Glade 11 years ago, I was committed to help these elderly residents. A lot of them have spouses, but a lot of them live by themselves. And so I'm part of a volunteer organization. There's 8 of us. And I personally myself to this, at this moment, have 22 residents out there that I try to work with, try to keep safe in their homes, try to get them caregivers, and they span a lot of different areas from the standpoint of their economics, being able to afford paid home care, or is it a neighbor that can come in, and how do we train these people and whatnot. So I'm very excited, talking real fast, but wanted you to know how key this is, that we look at our challenges as we move forward, as our population ages, as we keep people healthy for longer periods of time. How are we going to give these people care? So I'm excited to be part of this program. Sorry for the long one.
I am Skylar Smith. I'm an MBA student, and I work in the local emergency room.
I'm Rebecca Kelly. I'm the state director for AERP in Tennessee, and we love caregivers. We are caregivers, and I'll talk to you more later.
Kristen McWhirter. I am the Family Caregiver Support Program Coordinator for Southeast Tennessee Area Agency on Aging and Disability.
Vicki Winstead. I work with the Family Support Program at Pay Centers. We cover 12 counties, and we provide assistance for people who have developmental and intellectual disabilities. And I'm Tanya Delworth, and I'm a Family Support Coordinator with the same program as Vicki. Do the same things, and I'm also a caregiver.
Good morning, I'm Kevin Braswell, Vice President for University Advancement. What that means is that I lead the public relations and fundraising for the campus, and I've been in close touch with Dr. Sony, and my view of this is you all will think about what's needed, what are opportunities. I want to help on the fundraising side, whether it's grants or private gift support. Dr. Sony and I actually have worked on a gift. We solicited someone for $100,000. That person opted for another of the options that we presented to this individual, but we're already thinking about how we can generate the resources to make this a robust effort over time. So welcome to our campus.
Bruce Gallion, I'm the senior pastor at Middlebrook Pike United Methodist in Knoxville.
And I'm Connie Taylor. I'm a licensed clinical social worker that works with Elder Law of East Tennessee as a care coordinator. And I also teach the Powerful Tools for Caregivers class.
Dale Allen, I will be a moderator for panel 1. Several of you in here have been my students or participants in programs I've done before. The rest of you will know more about me than you want to know by the time we get through today. So we'll leave it at that.
Dr. Sony already mentioned my name, Tom Brewer, again, Associate Vice President here at the university. But just, again, all the personal stories. My wife's been battling cancer for 10 years. And still, although she's doing pretty well, and I've been the caregiver. And boy, don't forget the caregiver because it's difficult. Not that I'm not a strong person, and not that most people are not strong people. But again, Dr. Sony knows that, and we share stories certainly on that. But that's very important.
I'm Kevin Liska, and I'm involved in the virtual reality at the IQ. We have 4 health-related projects that we're doing right now. We're working on a falling app and an end-of-life application that are moving along. And we also have a diabetes virtual reality piece that we're going to be showcasing in the lobby during the break. So if you haven't been up to iCube lately, take a couple minutes to check out the diabetes piece. It'll only be in the break area for that half hour there. And we are also getting ready to work with the health department on Tennessee's prescription drug abuse epidemic, using virtual reality with younger folks to help counter that epidemic that's sweeping the country right now. One of the goals that I have for being here today is to identify a small team of people that are interested in working on some type of virtual reality application for the caregiving market. We at iCube are pleased to take this on without funding as an important strategic demonstration project. And so we're hungry to identify a small group of people that are passionate about the area, that have expertise in the subject matter, that want to come and form and join an interdisciplinary team at iCube to actually develop a product that can be used in some sort of training. And then the result of this training would be to continue testing it in the area and continue on. So very excited to work with the folks in this industry.
I'm Tracy Plant. I work with Alzheimer's Tennessee of Upper Cumberland. I'm on a panel coming up, so I'll have an opportunity to share a little bit about my story and Alzheimer's Tennessee. But I did also bring some information about our organizations, pamphlets and things like that to share. People have questions. So Alzheimer's is a huge topic. Dementia is a huge topic. You could spend all day on one area, so we'll try to condense down what's important as it relates to caregiving. And so I've got some statistics and things to share that I think will make it really evident that the issue of caregiving is a big deal in the world of dementia. So thank you for allowing me to be here today.
I'm Nicole Watson. I'm a sociology major here at Tennessee Tech, and I plan to work with the elderly once I graduate. And I also work with the SHIP program.
Hi, my name is Claire Farless, and I'm with the Area Agency on Aging and Disability, and I'm the Family Caregiver Coordinator. And like many of you here today, I share the same passion for our caregivers. I am very fortunate to work where I do. It is a wonderful organization, and I get to see the caregivers on the front lines. Unfortunately, I also have the unpleasant duty of telling them sometimes that we can't help you because of lack of funding. So that's what I'm so excited to be here and be a part of this wonderful group, to be able to come up with ideas to help these caregivers in our community. So thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Martin, and I'm with Homestead Senior Care. What we are a non-medical in-home provider. So we are the ones going into the homes, providing services. We understand that the children of these elderly people, it is very busy time for them. So it's difficult to find that time to work and also try to take care of their parents. So that's where we kind of try to step in to take some of that pressure off of the family members and come in and provide services.
Rob Brown, owner of Homestead Senior Care, proudly working with Sarah. Our mission is to enhance the lives of aging adults and their families in Upper Cumberland. We've been around about 12 years. We got offices in Cookeville, Crossville, and Lebanon. And I'm just very proud to be in this industry and the opportunity to team up with Tennessee Tech, do a lot of different things with the UCDD to TennCare, with the Choices program, to the Options program. There's a lot of services out there that are not just private pay for families. So we're proud to be part of that. We're just so fortunate to be teaming up and helping out. So.
I'm Shelley Brown. I'm an instructor in the Department of Sociology and Political Science. I am a certified gerontologist, a owner of Home Instead Senior Care, and I teach an aging studies class on campus. I have been a professional caregiver and I have trained professional caregivers, so I'm very interested in the wellness of caregivers and eliminating that 20% income loss for them, and also eliminating the loss that businesses experience from family caregivers having to take care of their loved ones. So I'm looking for ideas to help benefit both, and excited to be here and a part of this.
I'm Tracy Duncan. I'm Director of Corporate and Foundation Relations at Tennessee Tech. I work with Dr. Braswell in advancement, and it's my job to develop corporate and foundation partners university-wide. So I was a member of the planning committee for this conference, and I'm looking forward to working with our corporate and foundation partners looking for funding to sustain these centers.
I'm Jason Hurley. I'm the Director of Clinical Simulation and Health Development here in the School of Nursing. I've got personal stories with caregiving, probably just about like everyone has, and that's kind of what helps drive, but also being in the School of Nursing, you know, our primary thing is caring for others. So that's a big focus, but we also have to focus, we have to focus on the caregivers, because we have to keep them up and going so that they can continue to provide that care.
Dr. Soni introduced me, and I want to thank you for being here. The reason I'm here is I'm passionate about promoting quality of care and patient safety for older adults. And one of my research interests is to prevent falls for older adults. So I would like to be part of this meeting, to learn more about our community stakeholders' perspective, and so we can come out the initiative, the project, so we can move forward and promote the well-being and health of our community. So thank you very much for being here again, and I'm looking forward to hear your perspectives throughout the day. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Steve D'Amico. I'm a physician and internist. I do geriatric work. We have my wife who is going to be with me, but she's actually caregiving her best friend today. She's a psychologist, and we started a group called Geriatric Research and Evaluation. I have a private practice, and I do work in internal medicine, in the assisted living, and also hospice work. So I deal with the healthcare system, the individuals, the patients, and the healthcare system. So it's a lot of crossover. And I'm going to be on the panel, and I'll tell you more about it.
Good morning, my name is Jerry Gannad. I'm Chair of Computer Science here at Tennessee Tech. Part of a project collaborating with the Scripps Gerontology Center back at Miami University and the Polisher Research Institute at Penn State University, this is a mouthful, and the Abramson Center in Philadelphia. We've been working on a project that's geared towards person-centered care, and some of you that are in the nursing home context may know the preferences for everyday living inventory, and there is a movement towards trying to make that more of a standard throughout the country. In the state of Ohio, I'd recently come from, the state has, mandated, although, mandating something like this is always a risky proposition. So what we've been tasked with doing is making that index more palatable through the use of technology, through things that allow it's really that spectrum of both caregiving and care for residents and for patients, and providing the patient with a way and a means of being able to say, these are the things that are really important to me, and I really want that integrated into my care plan. And so what we are doing is two things, and you'll hear a little more about this later, or maybe less, since I'll talk more about it now. We're looking at ways of being able to to facilitate, asking all the questions that are part of the inventory, but then using some predictive analytics to help to help guide selection of ways of providing care, and doing that in a personalized way. So you'll see a little bit about that when we have our technology session. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patty Bedwell, and I presently work as an elder care coordinator for a life care planning law firm, the law firm of Timothy L. Takis in Hendersonville. And we try very hard to pair the care, the legal, and the financial pieces, bring them all together so that we can help people get the care when they need it, where they need it, and not go bankrupt in the process, so to speak. Prior to doing this, I worked for many years in Middle Tennessee as a district ombudsman, resident advocate, so, and also personal caregiver for a long time, and still present. So I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm anxious to hear what comes out of it.
My name is Amy Callender, and I'm in the College of Education, specifically the program of special education, working with students with pre-service teachers that are going to be working with moderate to severe disabilities. In full disclosure, I was standing right outside the door when Dr. Stoney said my name, but I thought it would look too bold of me to walk in. Thank you. It's that time of the semester, and students are very needy of their time, so I apologize for my tardiness. I have worked in many different avenues prior to coming to the university, but all focused on individuals with moderate to severe disabilities. And most families celebrate the moment when their child turns 18 years of age. But for the families that I've worked with over the years that have children with intellectual and developmental disabilities, that's not a moment of joy. It's a moment where they think, okay, what happens when the obligatory services that are being provided for them now are no longer available because I'm looking at my lifetime of care. Am I going to have to quit my job so that I can stay home? Is there going to be somebody that's really qualified to be able to stay with my child who I have taken care of my entire life when funding is not available for them because the waiting list is extraordinarily long for funding? What does that look like for them? And on the medical side of that, I've done research with families, just learning about their experience of having their child, and they all have horror stories of some medical professional delivering the news about what the outcome of their life is going to look like. And the physician once said, I know how to tell you that your child has a terminal illness, but I have no idea how to tell you that this is your new life. This is what you're going to face for the rest of your life. So bridging those pieces together will be wonderful. Thank you.
I'm Carla Stannard, and I've been and am currently a caregiver. I took care of my sister for over a year when she was fighting breast cancer. She fought valiantly but lost, and it was back in 2000, and I'm really thrilled to see that so many of the medicines don't destroy people's bodies like they used to, that they're more able to target the disease rather than the whole body. And I'm working on my 7th year now, taking care of my mother, who's 91. She moved in with me after she broke a hip. And because of that, I learned about our Overton County Senior Center, and eventually became a coordinator as an adult daycare there, and really enjoyed that work. I had worked with school children before, and the work is very similar, stimulate minds, entertain, it's great, I love it.
I'm Debbie Parrott, and I'm the Senior Center Director at Forthaw Senior Center in Livingston and the adult daycare. I've been there 33 years. I've learned a lot working with the senior population, and I work through the Area Agency on Aging, and it's my pleasure to be here today, and I'm looking forward to learning more about caregiving.
Good morning, I'm Rebecca Fletcher. I'm a medical anthropologist. I am the Assistant Director for the Center of Appalachian Studies and Services at East Tennessee State University. I'm doing research with guardianship and caregiving, and I'm also one of a few caregivers for my mother with dementia.
I'm Flo Weyerach. I'm an associate professor in nursing at East Tennessee State University, and I have completed a study looking at a new model, looking at the health of caregivers and what contributes to the health of caregivers. I've been a professional caregiver in the home in the past, and not had as much personal experience as I've had professional experience. I'm just really excited that Dr. Soni has had the vision to do this. I think it's been needed in the state for a long time. I was really excited when a former faculty member at Tennessee Tech called me and told me about this. So I'm just really excited to be here.
I'm Patty Lane. I'm with the ALS Association. I'm Director of Care Services, and actually, Flo, you invited Jane, I think.
Yes, I
said
know
I'm
I'm
here
here
to teach. So thank you. My goal here is to kind of be an advocate, of course, for my clients and help us remember that some of the challenges out there in healthcare or in caregiving, at least for my clients, are not only the non-medical, but a lot of my clients have a lot of medical. I mean, they can be faced with frontotemporal dementia, or they can be faced with being ventilator dependent, or needing assistance transferring with Hoyer lift, or all of the many needs. And there's the financial aspect of that is tremendous, because the person with the disease ends up going on disability, and then oftentimes the caregiver has to quit, and that the financial is just devastating. And I'm really just here to advocate and make sure that that part of the story is looked at here as well, because there's a lot of challenges in finding adequate caregivers, and there's licensure issues with non-medical. They can't do a tube feeding, but the parents can teach the 10-year-old how to do the tube feeding, you know. So I'm just kind of bringing some of those challenges to this as well. I'm excited.
I'm Chelsea Long. I'm a junior in computer science, and I'll soon be working with Dr. Gennard on his project he was talking about.
And I'm Peggy Cooper. I'm with the ARC Tennessee. We're an advocacy organization for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I'm here today because we have a focus on supporting aging caregivers of adults with disabilities and helping those aging caregivers plan for the future for their loved one when they're no longer around.
Well, I'm Kenneth Miller. I'm just a lay person. I'm not a professional at all. I'm just a caregiver. So I may be in the wrong place, but I do want to learn. Well, I'm just let you know, I don't have any sort of title other than caregiver, and it's tough to work. I work nights and try to care for it every day. It's very, very tough.
You are at the right place.
Well, I appreciate being here. Anything I can learn would be wonderful.
You'll be teaching us.
I'm Carissa Myron. I'm a nurse practitioner student at ECHU, and I'm working on a project with identifying caregivers and identifying their needs and concerns, and Dr. Murdoch is the chair of my project, so I'm interested in everyone here next to see.
I'm Holly Dockery. I'm also a nurse practitioner student at East Tennessee State University, focusing on adult geriatric care. My DMP project focuses on using advanced care planning as a tool to improve quality of life and quality of death, specifically for older adults is what I'm looking at. Right now I'm just looking at educating nurses in Tennessee on state-specific information, but I'm also interested in educating community members as well.
My name is Michael Deeper. I'm from the Overton County Health and Rehab Center. I'm the Quality of Life Director, and I also educate our caregiving staff on with the Hand in Hand program, where it goes to individualizing the care for our resident and being with them where they are in the moment and in an advanced care planning and the stages of that. And I'll let Scott talk to you about some of the other things we do.
My name's Scott and I work with Michael and right alongside Betty and Carla, the senior center. We're over in County Health and Rehab. It's a 125 bed, I call human habitat. Some people might call it a skilled and long-term nursing facility. We practice Eden Alternative. I'm a certified Eden associate. Michael and I just started our project within our company, Reframing Dementia, which is a statewide initiative, something you may have heard of. So a lot of education. So it's a different ballgame now. But, glad to be a part of this team and be here today and hopefully take something back home.
Very good. Thank you very much. I know we are 15 minutes behind, but having the beauty of having a small conference like that, we can work with the time. The main objective is to meet the objectives of this conference, and this was very critical for that. So we're going to start our first panel. Tony, you're going to introduce our